Some people are born into chaos. Some grow into it. But then, there are people like Pedro Rodrigues Filho, a boy who didn't grow into violence. He became violence. This is the story of a kid who murdered, then became a fugitive, then became the most feared prisoner in Brazil, and later, unbelievably, a YouTuber, a man responsible for over 70 deaths, many of them with his own hands. But before I dive deep into this wild, unbelievable real story, if you don't subscribe to this channel, just know this. I'm here spending hours telling you a story that might even keep you awake tonight. And you want to watch it without supporting? Come on now. Don't do me like that. Hit the subscribe button. Don't break my heart like Pedro broke Brazil. Our story starts in 1968, in Brazil. Pedro was just 14 years old. Most boys his age worry about school, friends, maybe football. But Pedro? He didn't feel empathy the way normal people do. No guilt, no fear, no mercy. One day, Pedro hears something that flips a switch inside him. His father, a humble security guard, is accused of stealing food from the school cafeteria. He didn't do it, but the deputy mayor insisted he be fired. And, just like that, his father loses his job. Pedro is furious. Not sad, not confused, furious. To him, this wasn't injustice. This was personal. So he does something no 4-year-old should even think about. He walks to the town hall, stands in front of the deputy mayor, pulls out a shotgun. Bam! Just like that murder number 1. Then he hunts down the security guard he believes actually stole the food. Bam! Murder number 2. Pedro is now a teen fugitive. And he's just getting started. Pedro flees to another city, 3 hours away. There, he meets a woman beautiful, older, kind. He falls for her. They move in together. She gets pregnant. But Pedro didn't know something very important. She is the widow of a former drug lord. And without planning it, Pedro steps into the dead husband's world and becomes the new boss. He runs the drug operations, kills rivals, controls territory. But in 1970, one day, when Pedro is away, everything collapses. A rival gang breaks into the house. They murder his pregnant lover, the woman carrying his child. When Pedro returns and sees her lifeless body, something inside him breaks. And whatever remained of his humanity dies right there. He swears revenge, not arrest, not justice. Revenge. And he begins a killing spree so violent, so bloody, the police still talk about it today. He tortures people. He hunts them down. He leaves bodies like breadcrumbs. And finally someone tells him the truth. A local gang was responsible. So Pedro and his crew find where the gang leader will be. A wedding. They pull up with guns. And without a single warning, blam 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 blam, they spray bullets through the entire event. 7 people die. 16 are wounded. But to Pedro, this is justice. Time passes. Pedro hears another story, this time involving his cousin. She got pregnant, and the baby daddy ran away, refused to marry her, refused to take responsibility. Pedro doesn't like men who run from their mistakes. He finds the man relaxing in a hammock on a farm in Rio. Both of them pull out guns. Blam, blam, blam. Only one man survives. And it's not the baby daddy. It's now 1973. Pedro is 18. Police finally catch him. He immediately confesses to 10 murders. He is sentenced to 128 years in prison. But nobody knew this was only the beginning. Because once Pedro enters prison, the killing doesn't stop. It increases. One day, he's in a prison van beside a man convicted of assaulting a woman. Pedro hates men who harm women. So, he strangles him inside the vehicle. Inside prison, Pedro becomes judge, jury, and executioner. He kills murderers. He kills drug dealers. He kills men who hurt children. He kills his cellmate because the guy snores too loudly. He kills a friend after discovering the man murdered his own sister by beheading him. He even buys a knife from a prison guard after hearing a rumor that 5 inmates want to jump him. The next day, they attack him. Pedro doesn't run. He fights. And 3 of those inmates die right there in the courtyard. Pedro is becoming a legend, a monster, a man feared even behind bars. When Pedro is about 20, he gets news that changes his life again. His father, now in prison, has murdered Pedro's mother with a machete. And by pure coincidence, the father is transferred to the same prison Pedro is in. Pedro makes a decision. He bribes guards. He walks into his father's cell. He stabs him repeatedly. Then, he cuts out his father's heart and takes a bite. This moment becomes one of the most shocking crimes in Brazilian prison history. Real quick, if you're still watching and haven't subscribed, you're choosing violence against my feelings. I'm here putting my soul into this story, and you're just scrolling like Pedro strolling into that wedding with a shotgun? Don't be like Pedro. Subscribe. Feel peace in your heart. Brazil has a maximum sentence law. No matter how many years you get, you can only serve 30 years. So, in 2007, at age 52, Pedro walks out of prison. After killing at least 71 people, he tries to live a normal life. But he gets arrested again in 2011, then released again in 2018. This time, the world has changed. YouTube exists. TikTok exists. And Pedro becomes a content creator. He films vlogs. He posts about his new Christian life. He shows himself getting baptized. He talks about his past on podcasts. He warns young people not to follow his path. Incredibly, he grows a TikTok account with over 400,000 followers. The killer becomes an influencer. On a quiet morning in 2023, Pedro is sitting on a porch at a relative's home. A black car pulls up. 2 masked men step out. Without a word, blam, 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 blam. Then they stab him to finish the job. Pedro Rodrigues Filho, the man who killed more criminals than most police units, dies on the spot. To this day, nobody knows exactly who killed him. Old enemies? Family revenge? Gang retaliation? Only the killers know, and they've stayed silent. Pedro's life is a terrifying reminder. Violence creates violence. Pain creates monsters. And sometimes, the monsters become famous before they fall. Listen, if you watched this whole story and you still haven't subscribed, my brother, my sister, you have a heart stronger than Pedro's victims. Don't let me sit here crying while you move to the next video. Support the channel so I can keep bringing you stories like this. Stories that shock you, teach you, and keep you glued to your screen. Hit subscribe. It takes 1 second, but it means everything to me.